Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome once again to the Save Continued Newscast. This is Ryan Robinson. Tom and Shanae are actually out sick today, so I'm going to be doing the news by myself. But I got a lot of good stories for you. Some that I got on my own, and also some that they forwarded to me. So let's get right to it. All right. So first up, Spider-Man. So Spider-Man, Insomniac's new blockbuster game, exclusive to Sony consoles, has just wowed everyone. As a matter of fact, it has outsold God of War, which had been the year's highest-selling Sony title previously. So what we got here, it looks like Sony sold 3.3 million copies of Spider-Man, which beat out God of War, which had sold 3.1 million copies. That actually translates to at $60 per copy. That translates to about $190 million in revenue for Sony. So did outstanding numbers. Heard great things, and really happy to see Insomniac doing so well. You know, branching out and doing a licensed game. Next up, so to be everyone's favorite ass-kicking cyborg or android, whatever, is actually she's from Nier Automata. She's actually coming to Soul Calibur 6 as a playable character. The second video game crossover character alongside Geralt of Rivia, who shipped with the launch version of the game. I've seen 2B in action in Nier Automata. Her moveset just seems perfect for Soul Calibur 6, so it's really awesome that she's coming. We got I know a lot of people who are fans of both Soul Calibur and Nier Automata. Tom, huge Nier Automata fan, so I'm pretty sure this is going to have him picking the game up. All right, next up, the PlayStation Classic. So Sony had announced this actually a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I think, and people kind of went nuts over it, right? So they're launching it at $100, and here are the games that we're getting with it. Okay, so we have 20 games shipping with the unit. So we have Battle Arena Choshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto, the original Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms. A lot of games on this thing, right? A lot of games. Some of which I've never played and been really curious about. So it seems like a really solid list, right? Well, check this out. So, as it turns out, the US and UK versions of the game are shipping with the games that I just listed, okay? Now, among those games, these are the ones that are exclusive to that version. Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Grand Theft Auto, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Siphon Filter, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, and Twisted Metal. Okay, so Japan is also getting the PlayStation Classic, but they're getting some exclusive games of their own to actually replace the games that I just mentioned. So check this out. They're getting Arc the Lad 2, Armored Core, Gradius Gaiden, Psy, Saga Frontier, G Darius, and Parasite Eve. That's crazy. Honestly, I feel like Japan is getting a slightly better deal. But that's not to say that the list that we're getting here in the U.S. And our friends in the UK isn't, comparable. But there's some really awesome games that I think we're missing out on. That being said, luckily those games are actually the games that I listed for Japan are actually pretty easy to find in the wild. So it might not be the end of the world just yet. Okay, so next up. So this is really great news, guys. So the Museum of Arts and Digital Entertainment out of Oakland, California, actually got an exemption from the DMCA, and they've got the go-ahead to do some video game archival. So we're talking all the way back to first-gen video games. So this is really huge because, and one of the things that makes emulation so important is these games need to be archived. They need to be saved for posterity, for future generations, and all that, right? So the Museum for Arts and Digital Entertainment, or the MAID, as they're also called, is actually getting is actually going to kind of try to collect all that in one place for all of us to go see, whenever we can. So that's really awesome news. And again, it's really important to preserve video games, their history, their lineage, and all that. So it's really awesome that they've been able to do that. The cool thing about the MAID is that it's an interactive museum. So they do have a paid membership, but you can go, you can actually play exhibits, like see some classic games. They do talks and lectures. They actually had a really cool lecture that I missed out on the Amiga not too long ago. So it's really awesome. So that's really good. That's really great news. Okay, so this is some news that I'm sure Tommy knew about, but I'm sure he's also really happy about. So Tetris Effect it's the new Tetris game that is coming out very soon, and they're actually getting a limited time demo or beta from November 1st through November 5th. So that's really awesome news. So if you want to get in there, you want to play, you want to try it out, get some thoughts on it, the 1st through the 5th of November is going to be your chance to do that. I've never been the biggest Tetris guy, but Tom is all about Tetris. The way he talks about this game, it might convert me. And so here's some news that I'm really happy about. No Man's Sky. So if you listen to the show, if you watch the show, you know that I love No Man's Sky. Ever since they came back with No Man's Sky Next earlier this year, they've been just constantly knocking it out of the park with updated content. Every week they're patching that game. Every week they're rebalancing and tweaking the game and making it even better than it was before. Great news. We're getting more traversal options in No Man's Sky. For those of you who are No Man's Sky fans, this is huge. So they're going to delve into the realm of underwater exploration, right? So before, all we could do was swim around. We had an oxygen meter. Hopefully we didn't drown while we were exploring underwater. Now we're actually going to get submarines that we can use. We're going to get some new cosmetics for our exosuits, and we're also going to be able to explore some underwater ruins and unearth new treasures. And I'm sure that's going to unlock some new community events as well. So it's already available as of this recording. So I'm really excited to dig into it. And last but certainly not least, Alan Wake, your favorite, my favorite horror writer turned wife savior, he's back. He's relisted on digital storefronts. As a matter of fact, I checked right before I started recording this. Steam is actually selling that game at 80% off at $3. $3 for Alan Wake. I think you can get the collector's edition for like $4, something like that. Less than $10. A handful of ones, you get Alan Wake. It's a game that I've spent a lot of time with. I've never finished it, but what I have played is really awesome. It's one of Remedy's better titles. So if you haven't played it, I urge you, spend the $3, go download it just to have it. It's a game that I really don't think a lot of people should miss out on. I really don't think you should miss out on it. So that's what we got for the news, guys. If you liked what you heard, if you like our show, make sure you check us out on YouTube. We're also on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, and all that. So you can check out the news and our show and other cool things out there. As always, I'm Ryan Robinson, and I will see you guys next week.